everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to episode 18. That's so many episodes.
So like you can vote now.
Yeah. Yes.
Join the army.
Can
You
do
can
a lot.
drink in England.
Yeah.
Signalers can drink now.
What already questions? This is amazing. We're moving to Adi like tomorrow. Thanks for asking. We have a volunteer day to pack boxes to start moving tomorrow at noon. So if you aren't doing anything, come on out. Thanks, Doug. So welcome to the show. It's Signal Boost. This is our Reno local art and culture show, if you haven't tuned in before. And every week we talk about cool things that people in Reno are doing and highlighting all of the awesome work. Sweet. Yeah, come on out and volunteer, Doug. And I'm Jessie Sprocket. I'm the communications director here at The Generator. And today I have Lina with me as my co-host.
Oh, hello. I like that I'm like introducing you over here. Yes, hello.
Big hands.
I've been here a few times.
You probably know her from many other episodes. of
Too many
Signal
episodes
Boost.
at this point.
But Alicia, who's usually here with me, she's in Gatorland with Florida. Because look, when you're from the East Coast, like New England, then you get old and you don't want to be cold anymore, and you go to Florida. It's just what happens.
That is a thing.
Yeah, her parents live on an island. It's really nice.
Right?
No, one of the other ones. There's a bunch. So she's doing that, and it looks really nice. But she'll be back next week. Oh, but big announcement. I'm moving the show dates to Wednesdays. Sorry, everybody, but this is what just needs to happen because we keep canceling on the weekends. Things are just too crazy on the weekends now. And I think if we move to Wednesdays, it'll be more consistent. And then I get to be with you every hump day. And that's really nice. And we can celebrate that we're halfway through the week. And we can talk about all the cool stuff that's going to happen on the weekend. And it'll be great.
But then you can't go to feed the camel.
After. Then I'll meet you every Wednesday. I'm not committing to this. But it is ironic because I was like, oh, I'm going to change it to Wednesdays. Like, it seems better now that everything's open and everything's good. And then mask mandate happened, like, right after I made that decision. And I, like, want to go to bingo that's happening on Wednesday. And I was like, nothing ever happens on a Wednesday. So, but it's whatever. We're doing it.
Whatever Wednesdays. Okay?
Whatever Wednesdays. It'll be great. After you get home from work, just turn on Signal Boost, okay? Or watch it whenever you want. All right, so we got a lot going on today, and we're going to go right into what's new with you.
What's new with you, Jessie?
I have yours pulled up first, so.
Oh, what's new with me? So much is new with me. Currently, what you can see on the screen is I have a bunch of stuff over at Pitch Black for the plant show that's up all month. You should go check it out. A bunch of really cool artists over there, of course. Like it's like a huge homie crew right now. Like Jen Charbonneau, Dale Slingland, I've got like Nick Noyes, Vera Alexander, Holly Spar. Just a ton of homies in the show right now.
The normal cast of characters, really.
Yeah, basically.
Look at all those sucks.
Oh man, I took over Pitch Black.
The leaf chair.
Yeah, I just recently redid the leaf chair that Holly's mom and Yarn Girl helped me with. So that's over there. And then other new things. We're going into
big question.
Oh, big question. The debate this week is whether or not I'm going to move. Surprise, surprise. If you know me, I'm always thinking about leaving Reno constantly. All the time. I'm like, am I going to New Orleans?
But you're still here, so.
5 years going strong. But with
maybe now's the time. Maybe
now.
it's real.
Yeah. With the next wave of pandemia and the housing crisis and everything going on in Reno right now. Thanks, Reno. I am thinking about moving back to either Youngstown, Ohio, or back to my hometown in South Carolina. Because Youngstown, you can get a 3-bedroom house for $700. Did you hear that? $700.
Who's gonna move with Lina?
Who's coming to Youngstown? And then the other thing is my body hurts because I decided it was a great idea at 3 a.m. to sign up for a year-long gym membership that I'm staying committed to.
Except you're not if we're moving to Ohio.
Planet Fitness, dude.
The
only
forever.
reason I got that was so I could travel. But yeah, now your turn.
Nice, thanks. Oh man. So I was just in New Jersey for like 2 weeks. That's why we didn't have a Signal Boost. So here's some, I just put some photos in the background. This is where I'm from. It's West Patterson. It's right by Garrett
Is
Mountain.
it a PowerPoint?
Yeah, it's like from the state's, the county website.
Oh. I thought these were your pictures.
It's like, yeah, and everybody come on vacation. So whatever, shout out to Jersey. See, you can see New York right from where I'm from. And I just wanted to like big ups to my hometown. And that was really great.
Whoa.
But the one thing that, yeah, this is like a castle from like the bajillion years ago times.
The bajillion years ago. New
When we
Jersey's a bajillion years old.
When we were teenagers, that was like, it was not upkept, and everyone would go in there and like dare each other. You know, it was like it was like a bad place. But then the county came and like made it nice, and now you can like go visit it as a historical landmark.
Typical.
Yeah. So it was so great to be with my family, and I went down to the shore and saw all my Jersey Shore fam, and got to hang out with my cousins. And my one cousin is like a silver gloves boxing champion. He's 6'7", and his feet are size 17, and he can only get shoes at bigshoes.com, and that's a real thing. But whatever, that's my Jersey trip. And then the only terrible part of it was that my grandfather had a heart attack while we were there, and he's still in the hospital. So that obviously really sucked and is upsetting, but I'm just trying to think positively. He had to have a triple bypass surgery. Yeah. So, but at least I like got to see him, and I hadn't seen him obviously since before COVID, and he got to see the kids and stuff. So that's a lot. That's been a lot. Yeah. So that's what's new with me. That's what's new. It's you know, an emotional roller coaster. Not to bring the show down completely, but I just want to tell you guys what's up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
life. We all have turmoils. And
Yeah.
issues.
But yeah, hopefully it'll be okay. Thoughts and prayers for my grandpa, guys. He basically raised me, and he's amazing. And he loves Bruce Springsteen.
Was that the grandpa that came out for
Yep.
Storm's second birthday?
Yeah, he comes out for every birthday.
Oh, he was so sweet.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to go into our interview with Asa Kennedy.
Hot boy in the block, short shorts.
Yeah, those shorts are real short, but you guys are going to see it in a second. So I'm going to flip the camera around.
Sounds like summer.
There's it's hot boy summer. I don't know. I'm not trying to objectify you.
No, this is an actual thing. I
Like,
know
that's
it's summer when I see Asa Kennedy in short shorts. Like, this is an actual Reno thing. If you haven't seen it, you're about to.
I guess it's summer, guys.
All right, are we going over?
Yeah, we're gonna transition.
Get on the
Let's please get on the couch. One day we're gonna have an intern. Do you want to be the intern so you could just man the webcam? Hit us up, because right now it's just me doing it every time. You look very comfortable.
Very comfortable sofa.
That's, yeah.
There's a back.
That's my first sofa I ever bought.
Okay. All right, everybody. Let us know about the audio here.
Are we besties now? We are.
Sure.
All right, you want to do your intro while I mess with this mic? Okay.
Basically, what are we doing?
Who are you speaking to?
Hold on, we'll do it.
Myself or Lina?
Who are you? What do you do? Where are you from?
Yeah, that kind of vibe. I just want to see how the audio is.
Whoa, can you hear me?
Yes.
Everybody out there in TV radio land, can you hear me? What that one dude say? Catch a shock like a faulty vibrator. You'll catch the vibe. Damn it, I can't remember. It's, some rap genius had a really great line about some stuff. But I'm not a rap genius, so it's really hard to repeat other people's jokes with the same comedic timing. What can you do?
Now, joke delivery is too good enough.
Timing, everything.
So, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you.
I don't think I've ever met you before, but I've seen you like around a lot.
Oh,
So that's cool that I finally get to like see the person next to the
Put a face to the name.
Yes, yes.
I'm somewhat notorious for being an indoors kid
Cool.
a lot of the time, so.
Will you introduce yourself to our viewers?
Viewers, my name's Asa Kennedy. I'm a 2005 was when I would have graduated college had I attended.
Cool.
A lot of my other friends were, so I have a high school diploma to my name.
Nice.
In a box somewhere, maybe in Michigan, maybe in Oliver, somewhere. Who knows? But I did, like I said, I leaned right into it. I kind of took on that role, like, what would you do now if you graduate from college? You have a solo show. And fortunately enough, one of those things presented itself.
Nice.
But this was in Oregon, and I was living there, and that was just, it was at a piercing studio, but it was downtown, and then high ceilings, huge place, like a huge lot, you know, so there's a lot of wall space to work with. And I created kind of an installation-based painting show for that. Kind of took it serious.
Yeah, yeah. You're
Even
like,
though it was not a gallery representation or anything, but getting over that first thing of what it is to complete a series, what it is to invest your time and your thought into something that you simply did.
yeah.
And kind of from there, getting into mural painting was a little more recreational. The place I was living was in Portland, Oregon, mid 2000s. Not allowed to paint murals. Corporate conglomerate sued the city years prior to that for zoning codes. Murals in the same zoning code as signs and billboards. You needed $1,600 to apply for that permit. Didn't guarantee. So it was this big thing. Like, you're not allowed to paint murals in this town. And I kind of snuck some in there. Had to tell some fibs here and there to the business owners that were paying me. And from that, it's kind of informed my content of, like, can't be social commentary, can't be anything but abstract, surreal, or the worst anyone can feel is indifference.
Yeah.
Don't want someone calling out and complaining, and then the business getting nicked, you know, because I think at the time it was $1,000 a day, fine, every day the mural wasn't kind of, if
So-
someone complained.
Yeah, so that's where your abstract, like, surrealist kind of vibes all came from, was just like having to fit within that.
For mural painting, yes, it transferred from the canvas painting, and that was kind of a result of growing up in the Southwest illustration, but it was still self, and not like too animated, not like too cartoony. Well, it's just fidget with that, and then from there it is finding the matching colors, the basement colors, to the drum colors, to the guitar colors, and almost treating it as an illustration of depth of field. So yes, why not? I have thought about it a little bit once in a while.
We talked about this. I'm aware.
Do you know about synesthesia?
The seeing shapes.
Yeah, it could be a lot of different
Hearing
things.
colors,
Hearing
yeah.
colors, like tasting color,
Yeah.
tasting sound. Yeah. So I really wonder about that. I'm sure there's somebody with synesthesia where they see a color and they hear a sound, or vice versa. They hear a sound and then all of a sudden they see yellow or something.
Right.
Yeah. We should find that person and ask them. Be like, what does it sound like for orange? Tell us. Are you out there, synesthesia person? Tell us what orange sounds
A
like.
needle in the haystack.
Yeah, yeah. I always thought that was so cool. We learned about that in epistemology in high school, and I was like, mind blown.
Mhm.
Like that, those wires being crossed.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it goes down the whole rabbit hole. We're not using very much of our brains at all because we're very devolved creatures. we all think that we're so smart, but yeah, it's like, what does a functioning human brain that's like all the wires are connected? What does that do? Does it just explode
Yeah.
into space?
Yeah, then we just transcend into like
And is that what we're here living to do? Is to
slowly
like-
build to that, and then all of a sudden we just like, there's just a white light, and then who the fuck knows what happens?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, reality. Reality is not so. So you grew up in New Mexico.
This is correct.
How long did you live there? Until how old?
Until
that
I
was
could
good.
immediately leave.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was born in Santa Fe, primarily grew up in Albuquerque, and then left when I was 18 to move in the Northwest, and then moved back for 5 years as an adult for the first time. Kind of multiple reasons why I go back. Primarily getting to a point within a painting craft where it's like, this cloud cover is not doing me any favors.
Yeah.
So let's go back to that source and delve into this deeper. I only came here 6 years ago.
Cool. Why Reno?
I've been visiting quite regularly since 2006. I've seen some of the chambers and my friend, through visits and conversations, was keeping me informed about some of the art things. And the city itself was, looking for an identity
Yeah.
beyond, divorces, and such. The pillars of society. So yeah, it's kind of just taking a shot on coming to contribute to a place that's growing in that capacity
Yeah.
and put my energies and efforts out there.
You have some pretty, sorry.
Go ahead.
You have some pretty big hopes and dreams of what you want to do with children. Can you talk about that?
Sure.
The children.
Who must think of the children? Well, this is an ongoing thing, and so part of my neuro practice is, I guess, certainly pursue some of my own projects that are the thing, but I'm very vested in public art in terms of, kind of always just describe it as it's my community service. I've never been a political activist, or but I've always had this necessity to not put myself first and to do what I can, and then just kind of got to that point. It's like, are you doing anything in that regards? And then it's like, well, yeah, man, like you're out there doing stuff on your own volition, changing the physical landscape. There's a, again, yes, I have lived here for quite a while, but, half of that time has been spent in the studio and creating work and doing things to have something to show people, just living life.
Hold on, my phone alarm's going on. Sorry, everybody, I'm the worst.
Yep, and
I gotta put the birds away.
how's the macrame coming?
Oh, it's great. I was only doing macrame for the wedding, and then
And now you're in it.
She's always doing macrame on the show. It's her shit. She's
Or
like, I'm a
crochet.
fiber artist. Come do a flower.
I was always doing something.
Yeah.
Totally.
So you helped Brad with the locomotion?
Yeah, I actually contacted him months prior to him coming out to offer assistance, to ask some questions about community murals. Said, hey, if you've got time and you're out here, can we talk about this? It's something I'm interested in.
Because Asa is such a good sport. That's being genuine, because he also applied for that mural.
It's not about me.
Yeah,
It's all about-
it's all about you today.
But yeah, I reached out to him and we spoke on the phone a few times and set it up where I could, he looked into some of my work on his own volition. I didn't solicit myself. I just want to have conversations with him.
Yes.
You're looking at the top of the food chain.
Yeah.
I want to.
Yeah, for real.
Let's hang out. And he was a really cool guy, and he was really into it, and it was wonderful. But I ended up being an artist assistant on that project
That's awesome.
for the hours I was available, and that was good for him because he came to Reno without knowing anybody,
Yeah.
and just through phone conversations and getting an idea, and kind of speaking the same language about just production schedules. He's like, sweet, found a person.
Yeah.
That's a stress off my back. And yes, it was just kind of keeping the volunteers supplied with all the stuff and going through the whole thing. It was a huge project.
Yeah, it's huge. I really like it.
Short.
I liked it. I liked the design of it. It was really fun, and it seemed like it was really galvanizing for a lot of people. Yeah, it seems super successful. I'd love to see more of that happening here.
Yeah,
That was
big
interesting.
time.
Yeah.
Did you have a chance to go down there and all the paint?
No, we just went down and to the small little interview with him with but we had like all of the kids. It was like whatever, there was like 5 children with us. It was madness. But it was so cool because I just didn't know he was from Philly, and then he's like, oh, my wife's from Jersey, and I'm just like, yes, people. He's like, that's so dope that somehow magically, where I'm from is now in the middle of Reno, or from where I'm from. So
Was West Patterson the little town in Copland? Copland?
I don't know.
It's a movie with Sylvester Stallone back in the movie.
Okay, I'll look it up.
It's like dirty cop movies.
I mean, it's
But like
very.
the whole town was like,
Yeah.
that was where the police force lived.
Maybe,
I just
yeah.
remember looking at those pictures like, some of those very similar camera shots. Looking
Yeah.
into New York. But, wow.
Yeah, I'll look it up. I mean, Patterson's a pretty big city. It used to be like a really big hub, and now it's really grimy.
Okay. Oh, kind of one of those like forgotten,
Yeah.
sort of the Rust Belt on
Yeah,
the eastern seaboard.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool. Do you want to talk a little bit about some art you have around town where you can see your work?
Ooh, sure.
You're at Reno Fine Arts Collective right now.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, you are. I saw your work. You interviewed them too there. Yeah, cool.
So yes, the Reno Fine Arts Collective. They reached out to me when they were setting the thing up, and I said, sure. Sounds great.
Yeah.
And so if you already did the interview with them, you know what
Their vibe is.
what their thing is and what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And it's just I spoke with Lina a little bit the other week just about sort of the, I don't know if it's changing of the guard or something, but it seems like within the creative community, it's kind of like shifting a little bit with some new additions, new
Yeah.
generator moving locations, and so it's nice that some people are coming in to invest in that, and also it's
Yeah.
keep popping it up. But
They're very serious about it.
yeah, so I've got work down there in that location, I believe, what is it, 200 South Virginia, something, it's on the bottom of the Chase Bank. traditional grid technique. I think that's still, I don't know if a lot of people do that anymore or not, but you kind of look back in time at some of the, how do you say, just the content and the detail and all the things going on in neurons and generations past. And I think that's where I would probably certainly go to something like that if I were doing something like that, that much different imagery
Yeah.
involved, where it's like, no, if this little thing is off, it's going to throw the whole thing off.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like a lot of traditional murals were more almost like historic images. Like this what comes to mind is like a lot of people and a lot of like elements, right? So
Yeah, they're more narrative,
yeah.
as they say. And again, you know, there's so many different times and places mural artists from the WPA employing sign trade painters to do murals in government buildings. And
Yeah.
it's like, all right, guess what those stories are about, type of thing.
Yeah, those are crazy.
Compared to, you know, the big three Mexican mural artists who were commenting on the history of their country. And it's the difference in appearance and the political content. And then the post office one. I think a lot of the WPA stuff went to post offices. But then again, the other community murals in Los Angeles and Chicago, yeah, they just take on such different flavor and meaning.
Yeah.
But common thread, they're all telling a story through imagery, whatever the story is.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to do a history of murals class.
That's also kind of part of one of the components of doing like youth work.
Yeah. But I want to take that.
As a generator, you should
Yeah.
teach classes that is for
You know what's there?
Yeah, you know. I mean
Listen to me, I know it all. Well, that's like the other thing too. It's like I don't fancy myself a scholar, but it's like this is information that I taught myself. I'm self-educated.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me, and it's that idea that you don't need a certification to teach me.
Yeah.
It's kind of that like Burning Man thing, like enter at your own risk.
Yeah.
It's
And
like
and
you
just-
go into an uncertified teaching course, and it's like pay attention and believe what you want. I'm not saying this is the truth.
And also just like the thing about Burning Man of like if you get there and you want to do something, you just do it. You
Yeah.
know, like you just have the agency.
Yeah.
Like you're just given the agency.
Yeah, it is. You learn shit from people. And,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I don't know about the history of it, but I mean, it's connecting the dots from Fresco painters and
Yeah. Yeah.
hundreds of years ago all the way through. It's really fun stuff to consider. And I have done some of the teaching projects I've done in the past. I haven't included a little bit of that. Just for youth.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I'm not overwhelming you, but here's something to consider because you're going to come a point you're going to understand what the Sistine Chapel is, history is, understand the other side of it,
Yeah.
how that relates to art, see how it holds today.
For sure. And even just seeing that stuff and having it influence you, you know, like and resonating and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you have a panel on the fence at the Reno Roots on
Urban Roots?
Urban Roots
Yeah.
on second and
And then where's the Daily Dead Girl?
Oh yeah, that was the big one. Second. Yeah, I've done work with Urban Roots before. I've done something else there. A handful of things I've done since my painted over building ownership changes.
Yeah.
But the last big one I did was a community oriented project on Lincoln Avenue, underneath the 395 overpass. So it's just east of the Clear Acre roundabout
Cool.
on Vatican Way, and that was a great project. I worked with a nonprofit called Be the Change, and we were awarded art belong survey from the city of Reno. This was in 2019, 2020. It's been such a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. It's like 400 years, but no time at the same
But
time.
that was a good project. So we did decide on a deal as well with under the bridge and around the place. It was part of the culture that celebrated when I grew up, so I was very exposed to it. And then the big thing, I think, for me, I got volunteer website, which is at this point just an online portfolio. Both of those are Lisa Kennedy Art. I know one's the @ symbol, one's the .com. So there's a communication apparatus between those, and hopefully I'm going to be spreading that up a little bit more. So it's mine. One more thing I want to talk about, if I can. In October, I will be hosting the group art show at Pensions Gallery. It is group. It's not about me.
Community art.
So I had this idea for a while, and I tried to set it up a couple years ago, and then something, whatever, fell through the cracks, and then we circled back around, and it's happening now. It's October, kind of the macabre month of October, I guess. It was fitting, and then it was also fitting, coming off the pandemic, everyone being isolated and refinding themselves and starting to create again. That kind of fit the vibe. And the gist of it, the show is called Fear or Fantasy, and the prompt that I gave to some other artists was loosely along the lines that artists, no matter what media they practice, dance, theater, music, film, two-dimensional art, there's a common thread that binds everyone else that we seldom realize and seldom talk about. And that tie that binds is called vulnerability. We're all vulnerable to ourselves personally, confronting ourselves, having to go through the battle to open your mouth when you're thinking outside the status quo. You're vulnerable to an audience, you're vulnerable to your peers, you're vulnerable to criticism of your ideas and your talents. And so this is something I've thought about. There are plenty of artists that is their driving force, but at the same time, it's something I haven't seen in full force. So this was my opportunity for even myself to maybe go to a different place.
So you're challenging each one of these artists to show up with their vulnerability however they see fit.
Yeah, and so that was the reminder, like, this is where art comes from, is a state of extreme vulnerability. Explore that, go to that place, and what are two very common vulnerable states of being for everybody? Artists are not. It's a fear or a fantasy. These are vulnerable because they're not often exposed. These are feelings kept pretty close to the chest. So even the common thread for happiness, it might not be a creative person, it's still a state of being that can be related to kind of demystifying the language of art. So yeah, that's on October 8th. I'm really excited. Everyone I reached out to was very curious and excited.
Who else is going to be in the show? You don't have to tell.
Well, yeah.
If you want to just keep it.
Arthur, Nathaniel, Dale, Jennifer, Melinda, Mallory, myself, and Rena.
Sweet. That'll be a good show. Rad. Okay, well, we'll definitely probably interview you again right before the show. Maybe with another artist or something.
Yeah,
We'll show
sure.
to it. Yeah. October 8th.
October 8th. That's a Friday.
Fear or fantasy.
Fear or fantasy.
Okay, cool. Gotta be there, guys. Sweet. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We gotta go do this over here.
Okie doke.
Let's get that out there. So weird.
What? I make everything.
I know. I'm just
Yeah.
joking. All right, you gotta come around. When I come around, guys, you like looking at this nothing? You did it for so long. You were great.
I have to stop my
Oh, Rossi's talking. I couldn't see you because I was over there, but I see you now. Oh, youth artworks. Oh yeah, I remember youth artworks and seeing stuff about it. We'll talk about it. And you miss it? Cool. Well, then collaborate. The collaboration, guys.
You should reach out to Asa, Rossi.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, inspired by the desert and want to teach the youth. Perfect match.
You guys are gonna be best friends.
Yeah.
I see it happening.
So we are going to go into our video interview with Rossi at her pyramid. I thought this interview was going to be like 15 minutes, and we hung out for like 2 hours. It was really wonderful. But weirdly, it cut off. Like there was probably another 5 or 10, maybe not even, a couple more minutes at the end, and it just like randomly stopped recording. But basically at the end, we just both said, if you are an emerging artist and you need help, you could reach out to both of us. And Rossi was like, hit me up, anybody. So that was the ending message. But we're gonna roll into that. Yeah, the structure for youth arts. Okay, we're doing it. The
I love
future.
your Halloween Beetlejuice Michael Jackson vibes going on right here.
You mean my circus ringleader vibes?
Oh, I definitely got Beetlejuice and Michael Jackson.
Beetlejuice. Yeah, when I did put on a hat, and then it was really Michael Jackson, and I had to take the hat off. It's too much. All right, guys, you can't even see us now, so we're gonna just let's roll into this awesome interview. Would you introduce yourself? Sure. We're with the artist, obviously.
Hi, everybody. My name is Rossitza Todorova, but everybody calls me Rossi. And I am a local artist here in Reno, Nevada. And I work at Truckee Meadows Community College. I'm teaching art classes. I teach painting, drawing, and sculpture. And I am from Reno and came back to Reno after leaving for about 10 years in 2018.
Cool. Oh, so you just got back.
I feel like I just got back.
I mean, it's been a couple of years,
I feel
but
like
yeah.
the pandemic is like a blip that we can just kind of take out.
Yeah.
So I feel like I just got back a year and a half ago, which technically I think it's been 3.
Yeah.
But it feels like
here
I've been
we
here
are.
for a minute.
Yeah, 2018 doesn't seem that far, but at the same time seems very far. So that's just
Yes.
the way
Yeah.
time and pandemic life.
Mostly pandemic.
Yeah. So you just put this piece in, right? When did it go in?
So it went in at the end of July, the end of June, just last month. And it's really cool. So the city of Sparks is doing a Sparks Walk.
Mm-hmm.
And so they want to activate Victorian Square, not only because they want public art down in this space, but also because there's so many new people moving into this area. So they're building all these condos.
Hella condos.
And so the city is really looking at a way that they can kind of reinvest in the arts in this area of town. And so they are putting up 5 sculptures. There's 4 right now. There's going to be a 5th. And they just built these concrete plinths, and it's a temporary public art installation that is going to rotate every couple of years. So I was super lucky to be one of the only local artists to be selected during this round. The other artists are from California, mostly.
California.
More locals need to apply.
Yeah.
That's the
Do you want your art
biggest-
here on this plinth?
So this one,
You got 2 years to figure it out. Okay.
this one's up until 2023.
Cool.
So I'm really excited, partially because when I built this sculpture, I built it when I was living in Phoenix, Arizona.
Cool.
And I was applying for a couple of calls for public arts pieces and was hoping it was going to happen, but didn't know. And over Christmas, I went and picked up the sculpture, brought it back, and almost 2 weeks later,
You
got the call that it was going to
Nice.
go up somewhere. So it was so rewarding.
That's
to be
amazing.
I took it home, and then it found a place for at least until 2023.
Yeah.
So
Finding a spot for your art is like kind of the hardest part of art.
mostly when you start working bigger,
Yeah.
right? And compared to the generator, this piece is not very big. But what I love about this kind of program that Sparks is doing is that because the scale of these plinths are not ginormous, they have one that's quite bigger, but the rest of them are like a 3-foot or like a 4-foot by 4-foot footprint or so. It gives opportunities to artists to actually start working in public art in a kind of medium size, rather than feeling like they need to go Burning Man huge.
Yeah,
right
for sure.
away.
It's like, okay, maybe it's not the centerpiece of a roundabout. It's
Yes.
like, it's just it's like a step down from that.
Yeah.
But then you can start figuring out and building things in a way that like you could get to that
Right.
larger. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
so cool.
you're probably going to ask me about this, but I work with a fabricator to create this piece.
Cool.
And so the other thing that's really interesting in being able to do this kind of public artwork is, you know, as an artist, you have to navigate so many different ways of making your own work.
Mhm.
So, I mean, like, I'm someone that works in painting, drawing, and sculpture, but my sculptures are usually very temporary. I use a lot of paper material, a lot of wood, and I work on a pretty small scale or something that's modular. Like a lot of times when I want to make something big, I'll build it on site because I can't get it through the door otherwise.
Yeah.
In a previous installation, I had a sculpture with a 2-channel video or a single-channel video of a cube that would rotate.
Oh, nice.
And that cube is like, you know, 3 foot by 3 foot or 4 foot by 4 foot. It can't fit through a door.
Yeah.
And so it has to be modular. It has to be something that I can then bring into the gallery, build on site to activate the space that the way that I want to. But I've never worked in metal. And so then going through the entire process of like, how do you find someone to help you? How do you find a fabricator that's going to help you create that, understands your vision, and can work you through that process, because you can learn how to weld yourself, like you guys are helping people do at the generator, but it's not the only way, right? There's many other ways.
Yeah, and we do have artists like Andy Tibbetts who he's somebody else's fabricator, and that's like a huge part of how he survives as a working artist is like he gets to do that and bring people's things to life. And it's really cool because he has this skill set that he's honed over so many years that, you know, you can't just, if you want to build something really giant, you can't just teach yourself over a 2-week period and throw it together. So
no.
Yeah, and he's got the engineering and stuff, so that's really cool. What was the name of who's the name of the fabricator?
It's Magnum Construction and Engineering in Phoenix, Arizona. And the really cool part is that they're a big fabricator, but they like working with artists.
Nice.
And so they would take on something like this and really gave me, I feel like, pretty good deal on how much they built it for.
Cool.
But the other thing is that the design was complicated enough. It has like really specific cuts that I needed to make for this piece to come together cleanly, because it's all about these clean lines. And they used a plasma cutter. So each of these 1-inch by 1-inch tubes, you know, like got fed into a plasma cutter, and the plasma cutter cut each of the CAD lines exactly, so then it really fit together like a little puzzle. And honestly, I think they took on the project because they hadn't used their plasma cutter that much, and they were really excited to get to use it.
That's crazy. So I wonder if was on a flatbed like a CNC plasma, like it's a 3-dimensional.
Yeah, it's a single laser. But the piece of metal, I saw it for this. It probably works differently for other.
Kind of like a lathe, but like a metal lathe.
Yes.
Like, okay,
yes, exactly like that. Yes.
Nice.
So yeah, it came in, and then the metal
we
would
need
rotate.
one of those.
It was so cool.
That sounds awesome.
It's
We don't
really
have
cool to
anything
watch
like that.
That thing work.
Yeah. We've got
because they have
everything. Yeah, fab shops. Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah,
so why the pyramids? Why these nested pyramids?
Yeah. So I was telling you that I grew up in Bulgaria, but I've been a desert child since I was 10 when we moved to Reno, Nevada, and basically I've lived.
You moved from Bulgaria to Reno? How does that happen?
Yeah.
How does anyone in Bulgaria know about Reno?
My father was invited to run a science lab at the University of Nevada, Reno.
Oh, sweet.
It's actually a really interesting story because Bulgaria was communist at the time, and so my father was from Bulgaria, got to go to Japan, which was a little bit hard to do, to like get permission to leave the country, and then didn't actually come back, went from Japan to the United States. In the time period in which he was gone, Bulgaria went through elections, and so opened up, and so then we were able to then come and join him here.
Wow.
And you were coming for 3 months,
and then you never went back.
And then we never moved back. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, so that it was. Sofia, where I'm from, is like 2 million people. It's a big city, and we moved to Reno in the 90s. So it was a culture shock at the time.
Yeah.
But
did you already speak English?
No.
What? Oh my gosh! And look at you now. You got art everywhere, killing it. That's so cool.
Reno's been amazing. I think that after the shock of just moving from a very different physical space, like a lot of green trees, it's kind of the same, like I would compare it to like Oregon in terms of its greenery.
Cool.
Just like moving to the desert, then I've kind of fallen in love with it. Like, my favorite, I think my high school art teacher often talked about how the beauty of Lonnie Albin at McQueen. Everybody knows who that is. Like, if you went to McQueen and took art classes, you would know.
Cool.
Here she is. But she talked about how the hills here are naked, and you can see them, and they're like a human body, and that they reveal themselves to you.
Yeah.
And there's
the subtlety of the desert. Oof.
Gorgeous. Amazing.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
And also just, again, open, visible, naked, revealing in a way that like nothing's hidden.
Yeah.
You go other places again, Oregon, you're in a tunnel of trees, which can be absolutely beautiful. You're in the middle of the forest, but you don't get that same kind of feeling of space and dimension.
Yes. Yeah. You're very closed in and in the woods, but out here there's a vastness that is like so freeing that I think people get addicted to it. Like you just fall in love with the desert and you just can't live anywhere else.
That's once space.
Once you realize you can have this kind of expanse in your life, you don't want to go back.
And so this piece, I was really thinking about these ideas of the desert and how the pyramid is the most stable form that we create. And so the piece is 3 pyramids, one of them inverted to create basically a chalice on the bottom of the piece, but it's 3 pyramids stacked on top of each other. And I was thinking about things like sacred geometry, like that process of repetition, but really kind of like a bringing up into the sky. That this becomes a point both up and down into the heavens and then into the earth.
Yeah.
And at the time, this larger version came from a series of smaller sculptures that were all about relationships of 3.
Cool.
And they were, I was just speaking about him, so it works perfectly. I created them right after my father passed away. And so it was really about a relationship between my sister and my mom and I, like keeping each other together.
Supported.
And trying to work with very limited amount of line to describe that something was kind of like missing, or that we were trying to find support in ways that still felt slightly unbalanced. And so there's this like feeling of balance, but also a reversal.
Yeah, like it's balanced but precarious at the same time in a way, right?
And it's also like this really stable form, but it's all transparent.
Yeah.
And so when you walk by it, it's continuously changing. If it was a sunny day, it casts a shadow that's continuously like turning and moving.
Nice.
And for that series of sculptures, the shadows of the pieces were almost as important as the piece themselves. A lot of times the shadows would actually complete the work. It would be the part that's missing.
Cool. Yeah, the
absence.
absence. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So, really.
I'm into it. I mean, I love triangles and I love sharp lines like that. Like it's just, it's a feel good vibe or whatever.
Yeah, geometry is just so, like, it's so simple, but it's so complex. And I love being able to like create it, twist those lines, on a 2-dimensional surface. A lot of times I'm building maquettes or like building sculptural pieces, and then I'm working from them that go into a 2-dimensional form, into a painted form. And I love that process of what happens when you just twist that form a little bit and look through it, how that dimensionality changes, how that form can really shift to create a sense of depth just by layering line, form, and shadow.
Oh man, you must be a really good art teacher. I'm like, okay, let's take this class.
You can take my class.
Yeah. TMCC.
TMCC.
It's obvious that you talk about art all day.
I'm teaching this semester. I teach drawing, painting, life drawing, and a professional development class for artists called Portfolio Emphasis, where I teach you how to do everything: build a website, write an art statement, write a bio, and you have to have an exhibition at the end of the class. So then we do the design of a postcard, press release,
all that stuff,
elevator pitch, all the things that take to like actually be an artist.
Yeah.
And it's the end of our associate's degree. So students that are like, I want to do art, we're like, great. You also need to know how to be a professional artist.
Yeah.
We're not gonna throw you out into the wolves.
Yeah.
Without that experience of like, no, here's ways that you have to present yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really important to be able to talk about your art and yourself in, you know, a cohesive, good way. But so many people struggle with that. Like, it's not, does not come easy for most artists to have to actually describe what they're working on, how they're doing it.
I think that there's also this pressure of turning it, the art world has a pressure to make art speak more complicated than it actually needs to be.
Yeah,
we don't. In my personal opinion, we shouldn't be talking down to or up. We shouldn't be complicating the way we talk about art. We should be able to talk about it the way that we would toward a 6-year-old, a 10-year-old, you know, like a 16-year-old, you know, like a 20-year-old, a 40-year-old. We should all talk about it in the same way, and we should actually use language that's accessible. Yeah. And I think a lot of times we think that artist statements need to be like these highbrow things where we talk about how we juxtapose the, you know, like the emotional quality, you know, like like
super just flowery and
it's like no. Why are you excited to make? Yeah. You know, like tell me why you want to be an artist. Like that's what's going to make me connect to the artwork. Yeah. And an artist statement and talking about the work is just like, how do you create an opening so that people understand how to approach the work? Yeah. That's all it is. Like, it doesn't have to explain the whole thing. Just give me a glimpse from the, you know, into the keyhole. Yeah. Of like, how are you thinking about it? Oh, cool. I get it. And then the artwork speaks for itself. Yeah, but anyway.
And it is hard for like a lot of people to feel connected to art. I think, you know, like they feel very separate from it. It's just a thing that happens to be around, you know, like unless you immediately have a crazy emotional reaction because just something is resonating with you. Right. But that's going to happen 1 out of like a bajillion times. Right. So most of the time you're just near art, and maybe you just can't get that. You know, it's different when you make it, but if you're just an observer.
Connection, and it's also about experience. And so most of the time when people, like, you have a piece like this, and it's out here on the side of the road, and somebody might have an experience like you're talking about. But the cool thing what Sparks did is they also did an audio tour. And so you can actually scan each of the barcodes and you hear the artist speak about the work in their own words.
I love that.
So one, it gives you that kind of access, but that's how you connect the story and take the work further. Mm-hmm. A lot of times if you actually hear the artist say something, we were talking earlier about, you know, these series of interviews and how when you actually get to hear an artist or any community member talk about what they do, you get it, and then all of a sudden becomes a story, and then you can actually retell that story. Mm-hmm. And speaking of which, I don't know if we can kind of see it, but way in the background there's another public art piece that's associated with the bus stop that's behind us, the blue one. Cool. And when you walk by, you're like, or drive by, you're like, oh, that's a really contemporary piece. I wonder why they put it up. Yeah. But then when you look at it again, it mimics the front of a cattle drive on a train. Mm-hmm. And then you realize, oh, this is a sculpture that's telling the story of Sparks and being a railroad city, and that railroad was, you know, running, well, it's right on the other side, sitting right here.
You literally can see it.
You can literally see it, but it used to, you know, like, this is why we have the street. Yeah. And to have a public art piece that is then talking about history, but it's still this really contemporary, it like grounds a place, and creates a story and tells a story in a different way, and you probably will never look at that blue wedge again and think, what is that
What's
thing?
up with that wedge?
You'd be like, oh yeah, there's so much here. Yeah. And anyway.
But you also got to get like, there's also, I think, a trap that happens where you're like, we know that this space is like a railroad and then also like a cowboy town. And also there's like all of this, like, you know, First Nation people and heritage. And then I just saw that a lot, like the same type of art being presented because that's the history. And I think it's difficult. You want to take the spirit of a place, but you also don't want to just produce the same three things about it. So that's why the cattle is really cool.
And it's cool that it's not a cowboy on, you know, like a cowboy and Indian, you know, plopped up on
which happens so often out here
that like means nothing. But instead it's what contemporary art can sometimes do, which is distill, and you know, or abstract work can do, you know, like it can take a form and continue to simplify it and kind of narrow it down to its essence. Yeah, yeah. And it can be multiple things, right? It could just be a beautiful object, but then it can also have this deeper meaning. Mm-hmm. and it can exist on many different planes, which is what's really interesting about an idea.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I feel like contemporary art is often trying to do, is trying to express one idea.
Yeah.
And there isn't one way. There are many
Amen.
ways.
Yeah, this conversation makes me want to make all the art I've been talking about making.
What have you been talking about?
Oh, so many things. I have so many ideas.
Well, what
But
kind of material?
I think the only issue with me is I do better creating in a group, you know?
Yeah. Yes.
It's very hard for me to create solo.
Yeah.
Like I have to at least have one partner who's in it with me.
Yes.
And then like I'm so motivated by my relationship and doing something for myself.
Funny you say that, because I think that anyway, like I think a lot of times I talk to artists and I talk to, you know, students, or just having a conversation with a student who just graduated, and they're like, I haven't been making. And I'm like, the only way I make is if I have a deadline.
Yeah.
And what you just said, it's like I need an outside person.
Yeah, to be like, where's
I
your
need this-
art? Yeah.
And it can be as simple as like, you have a show.
Yeah.
You booked a show. Like you applied for it, you booked it. You got to make new work for it.
Yeah.
So here's your deadline, and then you have to make it so that that organization, the generator, you know, Sierra Arts, Holland Project, wherever you're gonna go and
Yeah.
apply for a show, then has the work to
Yeah,
build up.
yeah. Oh, I've done that many, many times.
But
where that's the motivating factor for sure.
But without it, or a commission, or
Yeah.
you know, like, man, just, you know, like, choose a birthday. You know, like if it's not going to be a big thing, just be like, I'm going to make this for my, you know,
Yeah.
friend, for a family member, and I want to make this work for them, so that you have the goal.
A motivating factor. Yeah.
So, because working in a vacuum, I mean,
Although
you
I've
can
met
make a lot of things in a vacuum.
Yes.
You can sketch in a vacuum. You can like doodle in a vacuum, but a lot of times art creation itself,
needs motivation.
it really helps if you have an audience.
Yeah, although I've met so many artists who are the opposite. They're just
Yeah.
prolific. They're just like, you know, those people that like
Wow.
their room is full of art. They're just like it's almost like a compulsion, you know?
Yes.
I feel like Nick Noyes is kind of like that. Like that man produces so much work. Josie Rock, just so much work. Like
Yeah,
you're
they
just like, and you see them posting and being like, someone take these paintings. But it's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
crazy to watch. I love it. I'm like, oh man, your brain must be rad.
Yeah,
You just do it. You're just constantly throwing things out there. Like, it's beautiful.
Yeah. I like that.
So I know you've also got some things at the Reno Fine Arts Collective.
I do.
You got some things, where else? A couple places.
Yeah, so Reno Fine Arts Collective, which is up until September.
Yeah, we
in
just
that-
did an
in that-
interview with them.
Oh, good.
Yeah, last episode, if you want to watch that one.
I'm doing a lecture with them on the 6th.
Cool.
So August 6th, I'm doing a lecture about my work and kind of talking about constraint and creativity. So
Nice.
it's mostly talking about my personal work, but I'm going to talk about how the times that I like didn't have a studio space or didn't have like a space to work are some of the ways that really created breakthroughs in my work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because then I had to spin on a dime and do something that I
Totally
wouldn't
different.
usually.
Yeah.
And then I have work at the Sparks Heritage Museum on
Cool.
the second floor. That's with my studio space, Artemisia Studios. There's 7 of us that share space. We all have 7 studio spaces in one space. It's across the street from where the generator currently is.
The
on
Bell Street. Yeah, if you need
Um,
studio space before the generator opens,
Yes.
come on over.
We do have some spaces. And so artists that are in my studio and I are showing at the Sparks Heritage Museum.
Cool.
And then I have a show at the Truckee Tahoe Airport, which
Oh,
is a
yeah.
tiny little private airport in Truckee,
Nice.
with 2 other artists, another painter and a photographer. And that one's up until October. The Sparks Museum's up until the end of August.
Awesome. Art is your life. You're
Yeah.
just
And then I
talking
got-
about art,
I got really-
facilitating art, producing art. It's amazing.
Yeah, I got some really good news this week. Well, I knew about it, but I could finally talk about it. I just got juried into a magazine.
Hell yeah.
So the Southwest Contemporary. It's a magazine out of Albuquerque.
Nice.
No, sorry, out of Santa Fe,
Cool.
New Mexico. And I'm in their 3rd issue, and I got
Nice.
juried into that magazine. I'm really excited.
That's amazing.
Exciting to like
Love that. Yeah, I've
juried, nod.
yeah. Been thinking a lot about like a woman's Reno like Desert Women, or like Northern Nevada, like Desert Women Collective. Like
Yeah.
something like that could be really cool. I just feel like there's a lot of us out here working, and maybe we could be supporting each other and making the work easier somehow, you know?
Okay.
Whatever. That's an idea that's
I
been
have
in my
ideas.
mind.
I have ideas.
So,
If anybody's interested,
you
let
know,
us know because I have ideas. We can talk about how.
okay. Like I need another project, but whatever.
Maybe you don't have to be in charge of the other project. Maybe there's someone out there that
Who
actually
wants to
is like
run?
excited to have a project.
Yes. The Desert
But
Women.
I have an idea about a space.
Cool. Okay, cool. Okay, last question. It's
Yes.
the question we always ask. If you were an emerging artist, or what would you tell an emerging artist? What's the best piece of advice that you could give?
That's a really good question.
And you
So
work
the
with
biggest-
emerging artists all
yeah.
day, every day. So
I do.
it's gonna be a good one, guys.
The biggest thing is to not feel like you're in a vacuum. And to do that, you have to go out and you have to connect with others. And a lot of times, well, again, I moved here in the early 90s and I felt like there was nothing here when I first got here. And I think a lot of people sometimes feel that way, like,
Yeah.
Reno's a desert. It's like, no, it's not an art desert. There's so many things
There's a lot of art.
happening right now, and there's actually a bunch of opportunity, and people are willing to like listen and have a conversation, and we have resources. So start coming to generator events, start coming to exhibits at Sierra Arts. Get on Sierra Arts' mailing list. They're an incredible resource that can connect you to others. Go to the museum, even if you're just looking. You don't have to have a like membership. You can
Oh yeah, I forgot
go in.
how inspiring and awesome it is to go to a museum. I just did that recently.
Yes.
You know, and I used to do that when I lived, in New York City. That was a huge part of my life.
Yeah, you just
And
go.
yeah, you're just always at,
Yes.
you're like, what's new at the moment? You're like the new museum, like you're just in that mode. And then I just forgot here. Like we have that.
We have
like I
that.
just forget to go.
Yeah.
And then I'm out there looking at someone else's art and I'm like, oh my God, my soul feels so much better.
Yeah, but like go to Holland Project, go to the Stremmel, go to Nevada Fine Arts and go look at the gallery. And at most of those places, probably the Nevada Museum of Art and the Stremmel aside, all those places have opportunities for you. They have ways that you can actually connect to them, volunteer for them, show your work, get juried into a show, become a member and be in a members exhibition. Speaking of those deadlines, it's like, how do I get myself to make more work?
Yeah.
And it's like, join Sierra Arts and be a part of the members exhibition.
Yeah.
Nevada Fine Arts does a call all the time on a different theme. Apply. It's really reasonable, and they showcase a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of places to show art here.
Yeah.
And I think that the barrier is like thinking that you're not a good enough artist or whatever, or you're not ready.
Right.
You know what? Whatever, dude. Just have the show. Just have the show, because that's how you're gonna get ready. That's how your work's gonna grow.
You're never ready.
Yeah. Even when I do shows now, I'm terrified. Like,
well, and the show is never gonna be what you actually wanted it to be.
yeah.
Like it's always something missing. But if I ever made the perfect piece of artwork or had the perfect show, why would I make more work?
Yeah. Then you're like, I'm done.
It's like, I want to just be done. But it's like, every time I'm like, a little bit more. Okay, the next piece. Oh, the next piece.
Oh yeah, because you learn every time you do a show. You learn so much, and then you're like, now with this new knowledge and experience, I have a bajillion more ideas and the skills to execute it, and then it just grows. It's like a beautiful,
and like
thriving
connecting
thing
with other artists
Yeah.
is how you learn. I can't tell you how many times you have a conversation that's like this, and you get into like the nitty gritty, and you start talking about material, and somebody tells you about something you've never tried before, lets you borrow some, and it changes the way you work completely. Or like, oh yeah, come, I'll show you how to do this one thing, and it's all about connection.
Yep.
And again, we're not in New York, right? And we're not in LA, so there's less of a hierarchy. And so that's the other thing too, like sometimes I hope I would never I realize that I'm older now, but I was a 16-year-old doing my first mural at Idlewild Park or Barbara Bennett Park across the street, that Four Seasons
nice.
mural.
I gotta go see it. Is it still there?
Yeah, the basketball
From when you were
court.
16? That's amazing.
Yeah, so you have Winfield Park. Winfield Park with the amphitheater on
Yep.
the river, and just across the way there's a basketball court with a
Yep.
mural. You've seen this mural, I promise.
Probably. I mean,
But-
I've been in that basketball court.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we did that in '98.
That's
And
amazing.
so I was a young artist trying to like figure something out. I feel like I'm still a young artist trying to figure something.
You are.
But
you are.
I feel like we've all been there. Like, don't be intimidated to like talk to people. Like,
Yeah. No,
like,
Reno
come
is so
talk to
supportive.
me. I'm so.
Talk to either of us. Hit us up. We'll help you. Yeah. No. 100%. Like Noah, who just did that sculpture class last night. You know, he and his husband just moved here from Canada, partially because of the generator, and he's already had a show at the generator. He's been in a group show as well, and he's taught his first class. And you know, he moved here like a few months ago, and he just showed up and was like, "I want to make art. I want to be serious about art." And we're like, "Okay, let's do it." You know.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened. It just randomly cut off, and there was like 5 more minutes left of that. But it's okay. Basically, Rossi just says, hit her up if you need help breaking out in the art scene.
I think I'm gonna take her course. The
At TMCC?
Yeah, but like the final one that teaches you how to be a real artist.
Yeah. It's cool. She's helping facilitate like shows. Oh, I realized the. Let me see. Hold on. I think it's working. Yes. Okay.
Oh, 4 years.
Hi,
Hello,
four
new-
viewers.
Hello, new viewer.
So that class, that is the final class for the associate's degree. They are going to do different exhibitions all over Reno, and she asked if the generator would be one of the spaces for one of the exhibitions.
Cool.
So in December, we'll have one of the TMCC artists. Life drawing, okay. Go to life drawing, she says. Rossi.
Can I go to just the final class? Can I just take that one? Is that okay?
Maybe. Hit her up. She said, just hit her. Let her know. Yes. She says yes. Can't wait. There you go.
Cool.
Now you gotta stay in Reno. Can't go to Ohio.
Ohio's cheaper.
I know. But hey, does anybody have affordable housing for Lina?
There's a decision.
Okay. I'm just saying. All right. We're so over time. Failing on that.
But we have to do Instagram roundup because we have to talk about the cool things because there's so many good things going on that you have to go to.
It's nuts, y'all. Okay, Instagram roundup. Here we are.
Are you ready for this?
Bam. Someone play the yeehaw, please.
Yeehaw! Where's Micah?
Yes.
Yes! There's Micah!
Micah, I can't believe that I can count on you no matter what. It's just amazing.
I can.
I'm so grateful for our friendship.
Micah's the greatest.
I know. Look at this beautiful new sculpture that's at the Buffalo Creek Art Center in Gardnerville.
Dude, Gardnerville is super cool. Shout out to the Gardnerville homies.
Yes,
Quite a
Northern
few.
Nevada. Yeah, this artist just finished his residency there, and they installed it, and I just think it's so gorgeous. I love it. Oh my god! Like against the backdrop of that, stunning. Let me see. I have this William Langzillo. Yeah, look him up. He's really cool. I'm loving it. Look at this one. Ugh. Obsessed.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a really good shot.
Yeah, gorgeous. So follow them and follow the Buffalo Creek Art Center, and maybe you can get a residency there. I want a residency there. That's actually where Adrian Landon came to Nevada, because he got a residency at Buffalo Creek.
Oh.
Yeah. So everyone should apply. It's an old like hotel retreat center that they turned into an artist residency. He said it's like one of the most beautiful places he's ever lived, and you get housing and you build stuff. Yeah, it's
so
really
I should
nice.
apply to that one instead of the one I just applied to in Colorado.
Yeah. Well, apply to both. You usually only get one, and you apply to like 45 or 80. I heard somewhere like a statistic that most working artists apply to over 100 things a year and get 4. So that's a good thing to put in your brain. That's a lot of stuff, man. It's
I've applied
talking
to a lot of
about
stuff.
talking about vulnerability, like Asa was talking about, like just constantly applying and getting rejected over and over again is exhausting. But I just want everyone to know you're not alone, and don't be afraid of getting that letter that says we don't want your art of It's just gonna happen.
But next time.
Sometimes,
you can do
yeah, sometimes somebody gives you $15,000. You never know. And then you gotta make the art, and that's terrifying. Okay.
that. Next up, Dream Machine.
What's happening right now?
Oh,
It's a house party.
Yeah, so House Party is this local awesome crew that's joined with BLT, Biggest Level Tribe, and they currently have this huge event going on right now at Deadringer. Actually, it's probably starting. What time does it start? Like 9, 10, 8?
They said it was going all day. 12. It started at 12.
Oh,
12 to 5 a.m.
Sorry, friends. Sorry.
That's fine. You can go right now until 5 a.m.
You should go because they just built this entire crazy structure in the back patio of Deadringer. They've been working on it all week. Everyone involved has been busting buns to make this thing happen, and it's like one of their biggest parties they've done in a really long time. Dream Machine girls are down there live painting. Everybody's like doing a bunch of badass stuff. So go check it out and support your local homies.
Yeah, there's like a crystal vendor. There's a tarot reader.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Magic potions. You should go. If you're not doing anything right now, go on down till 5 a.m. You can take a nap and then go.
Yeah, and you can go see an amazing mural at the same time. Nathaniel Benjamin, shout out, who just came up with new patches today.
Yeah, I saw those new embroidery patches. I'm really sad I missed his show at Holland because it was only up while I was on vacation. His work is so sick.
Sorry everyone, he's one of my favorite artists in Reno.
No, it's amazing. Offbeat Festival.
It's back in action, baby!
That's how we met, basically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that is how we became friends. Long story short, we met at picnic. Thanks, Alicia. And then Jesse was like, hey, you want a wristband to come help me tomorrow at like 9 a.m. set up this sculpture? And me, not knowing how to say no, was like, yeah, I want to do that.
But then what did we do before we set up the sculpture?
We probably were out until, I don't know.
Yeah, we went to the pink party from picnic and we danced until like 3 in the morning, and then we slept for like an hour and got up and put a sculpture up for Offbeat Festival, and that's how we met. So.
And I met Jen Charbonneau that same day. So thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, that's, thanks for being at that bar.
Yeah. And then I think I got an internship from that with Reno Artworks.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, go to the bar. It's gonna really work out for you guys.
Yeah, you can be huge in the art scene too. Just go to Offbeat Festival.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm stoked for it. It's a fun event that happens like, if you've never been before, it just happens all around town at different venues, and there's just music everywhere, and good vibes and art, and it's super fun. So look forward to that in late September.
And you should buy your tickets, your wristbands now, because the early bird special is pretty cheap.
I need to do that. Offbeat, cool. Moana Nursery, totally different.
Whoa.
75% off herbs, veggies, bulbs, and annuals. That's a deep discount. So if you're a plant nerd, 75% off. While supplies last. Go. Coffee and comics, we love them.
Ooh.
They are doing a butterbeer frap to celebrate Harry Potter. And that, that's some nerd shit that you might be into, my friends. Just want you to know.
I'm covering my mouth because I just did something weird. I was so excited about that.
You're dying about it?
I was excited about it, so I did something weird. I was like, ooh, sorry everyone out there.
That's fine, that's fine. Andelin Farms Sunflower Festival opens on Thursday.
Whoa.
They made a giant thing, like that's this from the sky, but it's all sunflowers. What's that called? A maze, sunflower maze. So.
Who wants to be my date to that?
So cute.
Oh my, I wanna go. I've never been to a maze, guys.
Yeah. Maybe we'll all go together as a group. Alicia gets back on Thursday.
What time?
I don't know. But it starts on Thursday, so that it keeps going for a while.
Oh,
Yeah, we have some time. It's beautiful. Great American Craft Fair. I heard that the one here was actually really good that happened for July 4th. And now they're doing one in Virginia City. And I love Virginia City, even though it's like touristy as all hell. It's super fun. Like, it has a bucket of blood saloon. Come on.
You remember the Hopeless Jack's Shotgun Cider show that happened at your art show a couple years ago? They just played in Virginia City
I
last
know,
night.
at Ponderosa Stone. Yeah. But now they canceled their tour. Some drama went down.
Yeah, I saw a weird post.
Yeah. I really want to know the tea. If you know the tea, let me know. What happened?
I don't drink tea.
Shut up, you want to know. This is just hilarious that happened the other day on the highway in Reno, and I love it, and I think you should know about it.
I didn't know that was real. That really happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I've seen it all over Insta.
Yeah, it's great. This actually is not a Reno artist, but just talking about the desert, like that discussion we just had with Rossi about how magical the desert is. I was just scrolling through and so struck by this. I'm in love with it. Like, she just puts backdrops against different things in the desert and takes these photos, and I'm like obsessed. And you might be too if you love the desert. So I just wanted to share it with you. Female desert artists, like, you know, I'm about that. Hip hop show on August 11th at Reno Brew House, which is going to be Niles Quinn is going to be there, and he always plays with Revolutionary Sounds at our Art Sound Tap. He's amazing. Glass Tongue. I don't know them. I don't know any of these people except for Niles, but I bet the show's going to be lit. So you
Niles
should
will be there, so it'll be great.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Reno Ice Raiders.
Whoa, I don't know what this is, but
Reno has a semi-pro hockey team now. It just happened like a couple weeks ago, and I'm freaking pumped. I love hockey. It's my favorite sport. I'm a die-hard hockey fan.
Does that mean that we now have an ice rink like
Oh,
all
yeah.
year round?
Yes, we have a giant NHL level ice rink now.
Oh, but it's probably not going to like public.
It is.
Oh,
Yes.
it's not like the bowling stadium?
No, it's totally available. Yes, they have public skates all the time. Here, look. Oh, well, this is the ice raiders page, but hold on. Reno. It's just called Reno Ice.
Just trying to get ice skating.
Yeah, no, there's public skate. See, learn to skate, figure skating class, public skate. Yeah, Reno Ice.
Excuse me while I go look this up. Because
Yeah,
I love ice skating.
yeah. My kid is actually going to start doing ice hockey there, and the Las Vegas Golden Knights pay for all of the equipment for the children. So, I mean, you still have to pay for the lessons and everything, but the Golden Knights provide all of the equipment. Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah, I'm like ridiculously stoked about this because I'm come from a long line of hockey fans from the East Coast, so this is like literal magic.
I don't care about hockey. I love ice skating.
Cool, well, that's perfect. We gotta go.
Yeah.
There's a thing at the Elm. I've never been to the Elm Estate, but it seems cool.
It's really pretty.
Yeah, Daddy's Taco Truck.
I just saw them for the first time yesterday.
Nice.
I heard some funny tea about them too.
Cool, nice. I want to hear more. But so that's happening next week too. The same day as the Sunflowers, so you can go to both.
Yeah.
And the burrito show is also happening that night.
Yes. Hannibal Honey has something in that show too. I think
The band of Benjamin, yes.
And someone that we're going to talk about in a minute, Haley Jane, also has a piece in this, so you should definitely go check it out.
Yeah, burrito show, and it benefits the Reno Burrito Project. If you don't know about them, they supply burritos to vulnerable populations in Reno, and I reached out to them, I emailed them to try to get somebody on the show. So yeah, which I don't even know if I looked at my email today. I hope they didn't email me back. If you email me back, I'm sorry, I didn't have time to look at it yet, but I still want to come to the show. All right, so the only other thing is
High voltage.
yes. Hold on, I saved it. Oh no, maybe I didn't. Where did
Haley Jane's page.
Okay.
So I can talk to you about this. This is starting next week. The reception is actually next Saturday, I believe. It's either next Friday or next Saturday. Kaylin McGowan, who is a local neon artist, she's done all sorts of really awesome, badass stuff around town. She's, I believe, is the main host of it. And there's quite a few different artists. Ken Hines, who was her mentor, and then Haley Jane, who we've talked about a million times, who's a local ceramicist, badass, and painter, does a lot of really cool stuff. She does a lot of really provocative art, and she did her own body, and Kaylin did this really cool neon piece on it, and it lives in her house, and that'll be featured. And if you haven't seen Haley's art, definitely go check that piece out. Absolutely beautiful, but I'm super stoked because Kate's finally doing her own show. Josie Rock's gonna be involved, and Bridges too. I know which piece this is. If you were at the World of Our Own show, Bridges had this really cool neon tree that will be featured. Come see this show.
Neon's awesome. Neon's so good. I'm about it. Also, it's hilarious that Josie is in every freaking show, man.
Him and Nick Noyes. I'm surprised Nick doesn't have a
True,
business.
true.
Nick, where you at? Where's your neon?
I was just talking about them earlier. They're both so prolific. Get out of here. That's all for you, folks. There's a lot of cool stuff happening this week. A lot. And we're gonna do Signal Boost again on Wednesday. Maybe not Linda, if she wants to join me. But now I'm gonna do it every Wednesday, so I'm gonna have a show on Wednesday this week. And it's been great. Oh wait, one more thing. I've had this song stuck in my head all day. Where is that? Right. Okay. Bingo and Beats for Charity. So I'm going to do the Signal Boost on Wednesday night, and I'm going to go directly to this. It's going to be at Black Rabbit Meat Company, and it's going to be Bingo, and then Ruby Joe, who is the City Artist of the Year. It's going to spin cumbia, and it's going to be really fun, and it's a fundraiser for Anamarte, who we love, and you can read more about them here. Find out the stuff. You can go to Black Rabbit Mead, their Instagram, or Anamarte's Instagram to find out where you find the event right. But totally come out. It's Bingo for a good cause, and it's going to be so much fun. But I'll remind you again on Wednesday. And one more big thing is that we're moving. Tomorrow we're going to have a volunteer day to pack boxes. That'll be from 12 to whenever. Nice. Thanks for liking the stream. And we're moving over to Audi, so that's it for us. Like, we're not at Bell anymore. Don't come down. Don't come down. We're
Unless
not
you're
here.
going to volunteer
Yeah.
tomorrow to pack it all up and ship it out.
Yes. And yes, we're moving to Audi. That's it. It's our time to transition back to Sparks. And as of right now, if everything goes good with permits and we're building it all out and everything's sweet, the soft opening for our members will be September 15th. So that's not even a lot of time to be without us. Don't worry. And the opening for everybody else will be October 1st. And then we're doing Haunted Halloween Mini Golf, our big party, and that'll be a 5-day thing with the gigantic opening Halloween party on the 23rd of October. So mark your calendars, and if you want to make your own mini golf hole, we're going to have the release of that soon. So get your teams ready and think about what kind of mini golf hole you want to design. All you have to do is make sure it's Halloween. So that's it. That's all. There's